Hey folks, welcome back in another Poem Mass video, and today let's talk a bit about the upcoming Variety Noland and Ninjask. That's again just coming out on this reset, which as usual we will be pulling for live, so make sure I'll tune into that. Should be fun, right? So this unit is yeah. Speaking of fun, this is probably one of the most fun units in the game, right? At least it's up there. So it's a bug type. It's a bug type sprint unit, and it is very funny. It's an incredibly funny unit, and not in like a bad sort of way, because sometimes we say unit's funny, it's like it's so bad that's like hilarious almost. But no, it's actually a really good unit. So let's go over some of those upsides, right? So first of all, it is fast. This might be straight up just the fastest unit in the game, like. Yeah, I think it is. It might just be the best over there, which is funny because it doesn't have like any free move next stuff at all, which you'd probably expect from like good gauge units. But that's why I kind of just have a bit of a distinction between speed and gauges. Obviously, speed mainly contributes to gauges, right? But it's different. You could give gauges and be like a slow unit, right? Like for example, Magnezone, right? It does give the free gauges next, right? But it is ultimately pretty slow, so overall your team's gauge regen is not going to be that good, right? If you also have other slow units on your team. But a fast unit like this is it's fast, right? First of all, like straight up, just looking at the base stat, like that's 508 speed. Already at like 140, right? That's 140 without the, without EX, without all that stuff. And if you max it all the way out, right? That's almost 600 speed. That is insane. What do you need all that speed for? But anyways, yeah, that's obviously very good over there. And then on top of that, he has a passive team or hit team speed up to 9, which has a guaranteed chance of buffing your entire team speed by 2. Every time your attack move is successful. So every single, attack move, you buff your team speed by 2. So, three hits and you max out your entire team speed. So it's not just his own speed. And again, that stat, right, you multiply that by like, whatever the max speed multiplier, 1.8, right, I think it was? And yeah, that's insane amounts of gauge speed stuff, right? And yeah, on top of that, you just got like overkill stuff, right? He's like totally honest. Like for example, your main damaging move is a 1 gauge move. Yeah, that's yeah, like usually units, their main damaging move is like the higher gauge one, and then their like side tech whatever thing other move is like a lower gauge one. This is like Nolan's actually the opposite, where his main damaging move is the 1 gauge move, like the lower gauge move, and like his other like random tech move is actually like actually cost 1 more gauge. And then you got stuff like Catalyst is like, oh, like do we need all that stuff? Train move, Fleet Feet, right? Extra +2 speed on your train move. That's just obviously again he could max out his entire team speed, right? But not by just attacking, but that's just to make it more efficient, right? Because if you want to use your train move, right, to get other things, that's 1 turn you're not buffing speed, just get the max speed quicker, because you do need the max speed, right? It's not unnecessary. You actually you do need it literally +6 speed to activate your B move at all, right? That's the activation condition. So yeah, on top of that, you have again, it's a sprint unit. At the most, I'm pretty sure you have like -7 max sync move countdown, right? Like that's crazy. On your train move, you get -3 sync move countdown, right? Being a sprint EX unit, that's another -3 sync move countdown, right after your sync. Like again, straight up just -3 by himself over here, like twice. And then obviously you could give him like a head start or adrenaline for another -1. So if you just want to go crazy there, you could totally, yeah, right. And again, sync move count is just really powerful, right? Because the faster you get a sync in, the faster you get your sync buff in, right? So it's not just like oh, you get your sync move in faster. It just overall improves your team's DPS, right? Because of the extra damage you get off of every sync buff, especially with so many like now like units that have like support EX roles as well, right? Like, you know, it's crazy. After that, you also got you do have AoE, special attack, and speed debuffs. It is on your struggle bug, right? Which is obviously not your main damaging move, but you know, struggle bug is AoE and it does debuff opponents. Special attack, you also have trip up 9 over here, so if you pick that up, that also debuffs speed. And you also have overwhelm, right? So that also debuffs physical attack 2. So you know, that's like what, 3 debuffs that you could throw in there on like a struggle bug, just, you know, straight up. So that's pretty nice, right? That's pretty nice if you want to use them as debuffer. You also have evasion buffs and single target actually debuff, right, on your B move over here. First of all, it never misses. Debuffs opponent's accuracy by 1, and then you also have this hit evasion plus, you know, up 9, which gives you a guaranteed evasion buff every time an attack move is successful. So the combination, like, you know, evasion itself, accuracy debuff itself, like, it could be helpful, but it's obviously not as reliable. And I'm not saying this is 100% reliable either, because it's not, but it's a lot more reliable when you have both evasion buffs and accuracy debuffs over there, right? So if you do want to have some, you know, really good fun here, run some like evasion, you know, accuracy, like sort of like tank. I guess you can't really use that word, but you know, someone just to not take damage, right? You could do that. It's gonna be fun. It's definitely gonna be fun, right? So that's another option over there. And then yeah, you also have confusion. The B move gives guaranteed confusion. You also have, you know, nodes like stop hitting yourself, right? Curative confusion, all that stuff. So those are also options. Oh, also fail forward. That's another extra gauge, extra move gauge +1. You know, if the opponent misses you. So there's that. Yeah. Also, you have the tag AoE nuke. It's kind of, but like not really, because it's not a tech. It's just straight up not a tech, right? So you don't have that extra 1.5 times multiplier on your EX. You have the -3 sync move countdown, right? So, but it does have like the innate over there, right? This one's based on speed buffs, which again, very, very, very easy to get for him. So yeah, there's that, and yeah, and his EX roll is striker, right? Which by the way, it should hit pretty hard, right? Considering that's, you know, if you max it out, that's very, 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 very high attack stat. And again, you do have that innate over there, right? And then, you know, striker being AoE. You also have, I believe, pecking order, right? Yeah, pecking order and slow opponent sync 5. So that's an extra, what, 150% there. And then obviously sync with power up nodes, as all units do, right? So yeah, you also have that option. Well, all except for like Eevee and Xerneas, whatever. But and then obviously that leads to the next point, which is damage. The numbers are looking good, folks. Obviously, you know, it's not like anything, it's not like crazy good, I'd say, right? But it is pretty decent, considering this is literally just a 1 gauge move, right? A 1 gauge move hitting for like 1 million over there, right? And you know, you could run him with someone like with the Tea Party bros, right? You know, being physical, right? Having that physical defense debuff from Selgor is obviously going to be nice, right? And he's fast enough, right, to totally carry the Emmet gauges. And yeah, and again, his own AoE sync nuke is definitely really, really nice there as well. So that's pretty neat. I think that's the strongest in the game right now, right? Strongest AoE bug nuke. Yeah. It's a lot harder than what's his face, Emmett's, right? So he's got that going for him too. As for the downside, I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? It is pretty obvious. The big one being his trainer move, you know, buffing its attack and evasion by 2, sync move countdown by 3, but it's only 1 use, so they decided to lower the defense, special defense by 3, which is a lot, right? So it's basically, don't get hit, right? Just don't get hit. You're not gonna like, you know, get immediately nuked by like anything that like slightly grazes, like, you know, If you get hit by like a Swift, right? Swift is obviously, you know, guaranteed hit, right? So if you get hit by, not necessarily, unless you just have like the strength really, really high, attack, offense, all that stuff in like a mass mode or something, it's not necessarily going to be like a one-hit KO, but it's going to be pretty damn close at least, right? So it's definitely going to do a lot of damage over there. So yeah, you will basically just have to rely on debuffing opponent's accuracy, buffing your own evasion, and dodging everything, or having the confusion work, right? Because you do have you do have the confusion with stop hitting yourself, which hopefully would help as well. Again, you do have the special attack and physical attack debuffs. How much is that going to help? I mean, it definitely does cancel out some of those defense debuffs that you get, right? So, you know, again, you get -3 physical physical and special defense, but, you know, if you're spending the time to get -6 special attack and physical attack on the opponents, and sure, that it actually is like a net positive for you probably, right, on that end. But again, like, are you really spending that many turns doing it? Well, you're definitely spending that many turns doing you know, debuffing opponent's physical attack, right? Because, you know, overwhelm, you could just do it on your B move, although that's obviously not AoE, right? But struggle bug, probably not using it that much, but at least using it like 3 times, right? Just for the at least just for the max speed buffs. So there's that, I guess. But yeah, and the other downside is the same as Magnezone is the self-offensive buff, right? You don't have them maxed out straight up, right? You only have -2, or not -2, +2 attack on your trainer move, and there's a Berserker 2 on your grid, but like that's kind of it. You do max out your crit, which is, you know, also have crit eye over here, right? If you just don't even want to use dire hit plus, right? Which that's a pretty good option, right? So yeah, like regardless, either you go Fierce Entry 2 or just have another support max it out, which is, again, not that big of a deal, right? So there's that, I guess. All right, as for lucky skills, I feel like, again, there's a lot of ways you could go about this. If you just want to like have fun and just go crazy and just give him like head start or adrenaline 1 just for that, like, just max out on the Sync of Kenna, you could definitely do that. Again, it's not just fun, it is like legitimately good, right? So yeah, there's that. Obviously you still have your usual damage, right? Superpower 3, crit strike 2 options. Fierce Entry 2, again, that's a really nice one. You could also go with something like Unbending, or what was the other one? A Stalwart, right? So you don't actually get one of those you know, defense debuffs, right, on yourself. Like if you're facing like a, you know, mainly physical stage, like maybe like a Cobalion or something, right? You give him like Unbending, so you just don't get, right? You just don't get exploded when you get hit by like a rock slide or something, right? Or if you're just main tanking with them, which is, again, if you do give him like Unbending, right, and then, you know, you max him out 150 EX, you could definitely tank. You could definitely tank, right? So that's not like a theoretical question, I think. So yeah, you could do something like that as well. Enlighten 9 if you want to just have it both ways. So the, you know, Enlightenment 9, I think it's called, right? So the debuffs don't hurt as much, right? So that's another option. Yeah, it just really depends on what stage you're trying to fight. What role do you see Ninjask playing, right? Are you tanking with Ninjask, or are you not, right? Are you trying to use them just to facilitate even more sync move countdown, do more damage? What teammates are you running with him, right? Are you giving him a support or not, right? So yeah, just those are the main considerations, right? And then synchro wise, let's again start at 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5, you do have some stuff, right, in terms of damage, super duper effective 3 at least, right? Definitely, I'd say definitely pick up stop hitting yourself. Curative confusion, I'm not too sure about that one. I guess just because, like, there's really nothing much else, right? So sure, right? You on that same vein, you can pick up like sync regen, you can pick up the attack buff here, right? As for anything else, again, I feel like the gauges are really overkill unless you're just really running like some of the slowest units on your team, right? Like you're running like Hala, Duraldon or whatever, right? Then okay, I guess, right? And moving it refresh, fail forward. But other than that, I don't know, just get some like stat nodes, right? Attack nodes, whatever, right? If you want catalyst, again, just really, if you just think you're just the gauges, right? I really don't think it's gonna be necessary in most case scenarios, but who knows? All right. After that, 3 out of 5. So the big one is the sync nuke. You know, nodes over here, right? So opponent sync, pecking order, those are big. Unfortunately, you have to go through catalyst to get pecking order, which again feels unnecessary, but sure. I guess, right? So, you could definitely do that. Let me see. I'm just wondering if we could afford ramming speed here as well. The answer is no. Right? The answer is no. We can't afford ramming speed here as well. So you know you'd have to pick and choose. Like in that case, you can't pick up ramming speed. Although you could do something like this if you just really want to go for the damage, right? Again, obviously just bug weak stages. But otherwise, if you just mainly want the sync, you could still go for that, right? With against opponent sync. And then you could maybe just go over here, just pick that extra physical attack, I guess. Unless you just, I don't know, you don't care. You want the struggle button. I don't think it's as relevant, right, in comparison. But yeah, that's just if you want like the big sync nuke thing, right? The other option is just to have that max sort of evasion, right? Down here with the hit evasion up, if you just really want to run him as this tank thing, right? In this case, I guess, right? You come here, pick up, stop hitting yourself, right? Have this hit evasion up. I really don't think the gradual healing is gonna be enough to really just because like it's either you dodge everything or you get like 1 or 2 shots. So I'm not sold on the gradual healing thing. Honestly, I might change my mind if we test it out, and then you know if it actually does substantially, like again, like maybe if you just have, you know, again you're running a physical stage, you have unbending there, then okay, then you know obviously the opponents aren't going to do that much damage to you, so that would make a bit more sense, right? And you know, again, trip up also helps in this in the sense that I guess we can't afford it though for picking up all these, right? Again, I don't just drop one of these, man. It's no big deal. You know, if the opponent's attack, it takes longer for them to attack, then obviously, you know, the chance of you taking more damage is less, right? It's pretty intuitive stuff, right? So, that's what you do. And if you want to make him more self-sufficient, right? You're not running a support. You're having you have like Fierce Entry 2 on him. Then you could do something like Berserker 2 up there, right? And then you come here, pick up Critical Eye with the stop hitting yourself. Unfortunately, we don't have enough for ramming speed, right? But I guess in this case, you'd be, again, more in that tank-ish role, right? Because you're going to bring like 2 other damage healers, so I guess you could pick up something like a Curative Confusion over here. That's gonna help, I guess. Unfortunately, can't pick up the evasion stuff over there as well. So yeah, again, you just has way too many different roles, right? And there's just too much different nodes all over the place that helps with all those different roles, right? So in terms of team comps, again, if you do want to have them, you know, if you want to just risk it and have this guy as the guy, you know, taking most of the hits, you could do that, right? And, you know, run something like a Singsu Hilbert and like Emmett on the sides. That's obviously going to be really, really powerful offensively. And gauges wise, I'm pretty sure you'll be fine, right? I know they're both like 4 gauge damage deals, and he's like particularly slow. Although he does have some stuff that could help with gauges, right? You know, you got Charging Infliction, for example, right? If you want to pick that up, right? Charge Infliction 2 on Sword Stance specifically. Same with Iron Defense, right? You could do maybe something like this, or even if you don't want him to tank, if it's a physical stage, you could have, you could maybe try tank with Emmett, right? I mean, his defenses aren't good, but like if you do max it out, and you have Iron Defense over here, and with Ninjask help debuffing the opponent's physical attack, right? Debuff their accuracy, the confusion, all that stuff, speed. You could be fine over there, right? Another option you could go with is the other one, right? You know, would help with the extra defense debuffs over here. Obviously having Bug Zone there as well, right? So that could be another option. Over here, honestly, this team, there's 3 options you could pick. Who you want, you know, to be the main unit taking damage, right? His defense is also really, really bad, but he does have some evasion there too. Although if you really compare it, obviously Ninjask is clearly a better option in comparison to Ingo. But if you think like Ingo is like less important in this team comp, right? Then yeah, you can maybe have Ingo take damage first, maybe something like that. Lily, you could afford the gauges here. You could afford a 3 gauge support here, right? You know, Lily also has team evasion buffs there as well, right? If you really want to do that. So yeah, that's obviously another option. Alder, if you just want to go like, you know, again, just have him more in that tanking role rather than doing damage, and then just have a tanking / gauge role, and then you just have 2 big special damage healers on the side. That's definitely an option over there as well. So yeah, a lot of fun things you can do with this guy. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time regardless. Okay, well, unless your RNG is terrible, then it's gonna be a terrible time. But that's what you roll with here. So yeah, all that being said, right? It's definitely a risky unit, but it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be really fun. Which, I mean, if you have just enough units just to clear like anything in the game, then I'd say go for it, right? It's you know, add a little spice to your life. And yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I think it's a really nice fun unit. Again, if you do have the means, right? There is that paid gem scout that you could get the unit in like 2.5 multis, right? So that's, I feel like, again, if you do have the extra resources, that's pretty worth it, I'd say, right? But otherwise, this is more of it's funny because like on one hand it's like the casual fun unit, on the other hand it is going to be definitely more utilized for more like hardcore, like either super high score event clears, right? Or like just crazy whatever, right? Gauntlet solos, because he could, are you kidding me? This guy could definitely go for gauntlet solos, right? So you know, it's on the 2 opposite ends, right? But if you're just like a struggling player that isn't, you know, too much into the ins and outs of the game, just want to clear stages, all this stuff, maybe this is not like the best unit over here, right? For that. So I'd say overall maybe like 8.3 out of 10, because the unit is definitely very good, right? Again, just sync move countdown in of itself, right? Plus the speed, like just the speed and the sync move countdown would make it a unit worth considering, and then, you know, you got all that other stuff, right? So it is a more gimmicky unit. Again, I don't think it's something that just your average player is gonna go for, right? Which is why, right, probably wouldn't recommend your average player to go for it. But it's definitely fun. It's gonna be great. And yeah, if you do want to go for the just highest, right, scores, he's 100% gonna be up there, right? Because again, just one unit having just shedding like 2 turns, no pun intended, of sync move countdown over there, right, by itself is just way too powerful, right? Way too powerful. So yeah, anyways, yeah, that's one I guess. So I hope y'all guys in the comments down below, like, enjoy the video, my channel, some more Poem Mouse content. Again, there's just a lot of other banners that are up at the moment that are really I guess more curated towards your average player, right, rather than this very specialized, I guess, unit, right? So it's not even that specialized. It's just used for very unique ends, right? So all right, have fun. Again, like, subscribe, all that stuff. We'll see you guys in the next one.